I would like to introduce Michael Tyler. I want to introduce Rutu Karka.
Can I ask, why did you wrote this book? Everyone went through this time period. What was the special thing, or the, what you can say, the incident which made you write this book? So that I'm curious about it.
You ask a very good question,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very pleased to answer it for you. Quite simply this book was not intended to be a book. This book, or the writing of this book, was all about helping me deal with the stresses and pressures of that time period.
Okay.
This book is the first of three. It's a trilogy. It takes you through my experience in Vietnam. It takes you through some of my experience as a child. It takes you through, in a sense, life in America, in the United States of America. A lot of citizens of the United States like to present themselves as know-it-all, you're the best, you're an American, everyone else is second best. I found it stressful, especially when I went abroad. A lot of times, Americans present themselves in the wrong way. Many times, most of the time, Americans abroad do not consider the culture that they're in. Many do not consider the different cultures that exist within the United States.
Exactly.
So that's stressful. And the writing of this book, as you put it, was nothing more than me writing in a journal, helping me to deal with life. When you have someone shooting at you every day and half of the night, you deal with stress. And writing in this journal helped me escape. I grew up in a slum. I grew up in the ghetto, and it's rough. But although I grew up in the ghetto, I had to deal with gangs. I had to deal with bullies. I had to deal with life in the ghetto, stress, and writing about it, creating stories that offset that stress, helped me to understand me, who I am, and what I'm about. That's the purpose for writing this book, for me, putting it out there, having it published. The purpose of that is to let it go. If it makes it on its own, great. If it doesn't make it, great. It served its purpose for me. Now, I'm sharing with everyone else, and if they can get into it, if they can appreciate it, great. If they can't appreciate it, if they can't get into it, that's great too. I've had my fun.
Now, I started the first chapter and it was confusing for me. The first thing is, what was the age when that incident took place of the boy fainted down, the start of the story? What was his age?
And
Was he 15? Was he 5? And after, at the last paragraph of the first chapter, and I opened my eyes, I was 5. So that is all confusing.
let me explain. The book is metaphorical. Children use metaphor to help them deal with growing up. When children play, they play make-believe for the most part. Make-believe play is cathartic. And in playing in this way, they are trying to cope with the present. They're trying to cope with the stresses of their lifestyle. They're trying to cope with the stresses of the people they live with and the things they have to deal with on a daily basis. The very beginning is me introducing the book, and I'm introducing the main character's life. I'm looking at the first little bit of story in the beginning is a metaphor for birth. When we are born, it is my contention that we are born fully aware of everything, but we don't have the ability to act upon that awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And after birth, we begin to forget a lot about what was and what
Mm-hmm.
we're capable of. That first part is an introduction, not just to the main character, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also an introduction to the rest of the book, which is a metaphor.
But now, if it is one chapter of introduction, so I think we should mention everything about the age, about detail of that main character, as you are telling, that all introduction of main character for one chapter. So we should add more stuff about main character.
But let me ask you this. If you know everything about the main character, are you really interested to learn about the main character?
Now I've started some building some interest in that. So what was the age, and what in one paragraph uh, there is, "Oh mama's boy hungry." Do you remember it?
Yes.
So I don't know in states what that sentence mean, but here it's like a mom's cute little baby. We give it that sentence there. So is that sentence meant for that, or for real mom is telling? So that's for, okay.
It's both. It's both. In other words, as far as the main character is concerned,
Uh-huh.
he's not aware, fully aware of the fact that he's not making sense to his parents. He's not fully aware of the fact that he has recently been born. He's not fully aware of the fact
Mm-hmm.
that he's talking gibberish as far as they are concerned. Okay? He doesn't realize that he's a baby.
Mm-hmm.
The parents realize that he's a baby. And that's the kicker. It's like if you take that one little bit, that little beginning, you can have that as a short story, a catchy little short story with the twist on the end.
So what was the age? Was it 5?
Younger than that. If he's a baby talking gibberish, he's like at the most a couple of months old. He's in the crib talking gibberish, and then he breaks out and cries. That's a baby.
Now, is his mother included in this story?
In parts, yes.
Now, which on the stage what we are right now of that boy talking, and the last part of the first chapter. So was there his mom included in that chapter, in the first chapter?
Mom was only introduced very slightly. For the most part, Mom is not a part of the main story. No. It's about the boy. It's about Michael Anthony and the journey that he takes. When you graduated high school, what did you do? What were your plans after high school?
Going for graduation college.
With Michael Anthony, there was a slight desire to go to continue his education, but he didn't believe a lot in himself. Growing up in a ghetto, any ghetto, is designed to keep you down. It's designed to not let you think that you can rise above this. And for Michael Anthony, it was about, well, if I can get out of this, how will I do it? And there aren't any choices. Didn't think he would go to college. He wasn't rich, lower middle class family. So he goes into the military and tries to escape that way. He does, but only temporarily. When he finishes with the military, so to speak, he comes back to the same neighborhood, to the same problem. How does he escape the pressures? In his mind. That's how he escapes. And that's where everything else takes place. It becomes a mind trip. And in that, it's metaphorical.
So as you told me, you wrote the book and you are happy now. So you have did your job of making yourself happy. And now the main thing is now selling the book. Now how you're getting people approach to you or your book or your story, what is the main thing that is attracting your audience? I would like to know that first.
I would like to know that too. That's a very good question. I don't have an answer for that.
What was the response from sold the book, or if you have given to someone else to read, what was your what response you got from them?
From several people, the response has been, wow, this is a fantastic trip. They look at it as a fantasy, and it is. It is a fantasy. It's a fantasy akin to Alice in Wonderland, or Valerian, or The Magicians, Harry Potter. It's a fantasy. Its subject matter is adult, so therefore it's somewhat risque, but it's not vulgar. When you look at the story is about a young man trying to find out who he is, what he's about. Okay. In the process, part of that is about understanding love and falling in love. And when he feels that he has fallen in love truly with another person, he desires to be with that person, not really truly understanding it, but the person he's desiring to be with is himself. And when you try to be with yourself, when you try to be comfortable in your own skin, you do a hell of a lot of fighting of you. You're not fighting other people, so to speak. You're fighting you. Even when you're fighting other people, arguing, you're fighting you. And he's learning that. He doesn't truly learn it until the second book. And he makes full circle with the third book.
Now, what do you feel that graphics would help in this kind of story?
It won't make any changes other than bringing to light the artist's idea and understanding of certain aspects of the book. Again, I go back to the title, Catharsis. Catharsis means dreamlight, to escape. When the publisher's artist came to me and said, how do you want the cover? How do you envision the cover of this book? My response to him was, I have no vision of the cover, and I don't. My vision of that cover can be anything. Point is that when people read the book, they will create their own visions of what they read. So if the artist takes a part of that book and creates a vision, creates a piece of art based on what he's read, then that primarily is his vision. And I hope that it doesn't take away from the book allowing others to create their own vision of those characters and events.